doesn't have Wi-Fi. But soon I will. But for now, let's talk about how to start keto. But I really want to go over how to start keto, carnivore, and low carb, high fat successfully. Now, I have made videos like this before, but I thought it was time to bring it up again. And there's a whole new wave of people coming into this whole thing, or people who are just trying to find little tidbits of information, nuggets, that'll push them in the right direction. All right, number one, when it comes to starting keto, clear out your kitchen of all the carbs, at least for a week. Put it in your car, put it in your garage, lock it up. That's for people who live with family members who don't do keto. Or if you're like in a family like a husband and a wife or whatever, I would suggest to your partner, please, husband or wife, or husband, wife, whatever, please let me just lock up all the garbage for a week, because the biggest reasons why people fail is because they don't lock up or get rid of the foods that are tempting. That's the first thing. The second thing is make sure you have everything in place when it comes to your macros. If you don't know what your macros are, then go get a glucometer, because a glucometer is going to really show you how much protein you should be eating. And this is very, very important on keto and carnivore, that you really want to watch your blood sugar if it's spiking. Now, someone said to me, all these gurus are saying there's so much controversy on how much protein. Some say eat a lot, some say eat less. I'm like, use a glucometer and that'll just end the argument in 2 seconds. Because, I know, I've been coaching people for years. I know for a fact that when you eat too much protein, especially if you have hypochlorhydria, or if you don't have enough pepsin, typically from low stomach acid, you don't have enough protease, you're not going to digest that protein very well. Use a glucometer, not only just to test your blood sugar, but test your blood sugar in terms of how much protein. Because what your body can't use, or what you might have difficulties in digesting, your blood sugar is going to spike, as well as if you're having a histamine response. So get a glucometer. There are different brands. There's the Mojo, that's a very common one. There's Precision Extra. There's another new brand out there, I can't remember the name of it, but there's at least 3 brands of glucometers that can test your blood sugar and your ketones. This is what you should start with. Clear out all the junk, get rid of all the carbs, all the sweet fruits. Now, what kind of vegetables or fruits can you eat on a keto diet? Obviously, avocado is a fruit. People don't seem to realize that. Olives are fruits. Tomatoes are nightshades. Most of you cannot eat tomatoes, but if you de-skin them and take out the seeds, a little bit here and there is fine if you don't have a histamine reaction or have a problem with your thyroid. Lemons, great for the liver, especially lemon water, not concentrated. Lemon water, a couple drops of fresh lemon in a glass of water is really great to help dissolve stones in your biliary duct system. Sorry for the noise. People are like, I can't hear you, there's too much traffic. All right, I'll talk louder. So another thing, another thing that you guys should really consider is your electrolytes. That means your sodium, salt, your potassium, and your magnesium, and of course water. These things you must start with. So many people start a ketogenic diet, they don't even have magnesium. Like, what planet are you on to not start at least with your magnesium? There's magnesium glycinate. A lot of you guys already know that. Some of you have a histamine reaction to glycinate, so then you'll try malate. If malate doesn't work, try L-threonate, down the list, bicarbonate, or chloride only on the skin, as in transdermal. Only, not orally. Okay. How much magnesium? 400 milligrams of magnesium to start with. Oh, there's citrate. I forgot about citrate. Now, citrate is typically helps the smooth muscle of the bowel, draws water into the colon, so people tend to get diarrhea from it. If you're super constipated, then magnesium citrate should help. Now, some people have problems with their ileocecal valve and it's stuck open or shut, so it doesn't matter how much magnesium citrate you use, you still can't poop. I mean, it's crazy, crazy stuff. Okay, let's continue on. How much fat? Well, no, let's continue more with the electrolytes first, because I really want to make sure that you understand that you have to drink at least 2 liters of water. Depends on what season you're in and what size and if you're sweating. But if you start drinking gallons of water, you can really make it difficult for the cells to actually absorb the water because too much water is coming in, and then people become more dehydrated the more water that they drink. Don't forget that it takes about 45 minutes from when you drink water until it reaches my cells to hydrate. So a lot of you guys are doing keto, the kidneys are dumping a lot of water. You are waiting to the last minute. You're waiting till you actually feel thirsty. And then people have these massive headaches. They feel awful. They start getting muscle cramps. I mean, heart palps, benign palps, the list goes on just by simply not drinking enough water. And then, of course, balancing the rest of your electrolytes. What else? What more? Potassium is super important. A lot of people have the benign heart palps because they don't get enough potassium. A lot of you guys cannot consume avocado because you have a histamine reaction to it or a latex allergy. So then we have to go down the list of what type of potassium. Now, there is potassium in meat and in some vegetables, but it's too little, to be honest. It's not enough. So potassium citrate, some people react to citrate, so then you would try bicarbonate. And at this juncture, we better get that leaky gut in order because we really don't want to go down the rabbit's hole down to bicarbonate. We really just want to stick with your avocado or citrate. Now, you can do meat broth. A lot of people react to, not bone broth, meat broth. It's going to have more potassium in it without the glutamate. Yes. Which people react to. And the oxalates. Yes. Especially cows with cow bones. Now, with that said, how much supplemental potassium, which I don't really like? Well, if it's citrate, you can go up to 400. That's 200 in the morning, 200 in the evening. If you're doing bicarbonates, I mean, dare I say 99 a day, if not 200 split up twice a day. But people tend to, if you have poor liver function, it's not the best to do bicarbonates. Okay, now let's continue. So we've got the water. The 2 liters of water at least a day is so important. Sip it. Don't drink it all at once because that shows that you're already dehydrated. And again, all that water coming at once will not hydrate you quickly at all. So a lot of people have this sort of misunderstanding about how the body hydrates itself. You have to balance your electrolytes and you also have to get enough water in. Sorry for the car noise. That's the noise you guys are hearing. Now, what else? How do you start this dang diet? People keep thinking about just macros. It's not just macros, it's the electrolytes. It's getting enough sleep. Because if you do not sleep well, forget about it. Your blood sugar is going to rebound. Your blood sugar is going to spike. And if you already have issues with blood sugar and you don't sleep well, it's a wrap. It won't work. So really make sure that the week that you start, go to bed extra early, do some friggin' diaphragmatic breathing and some relaxation techniques, and tell everybody in the family we need to chill because I'm going to start this diet and I need to get my cortisol down or balanced. We need cortisol, we just don't need to be bathing in cortisol. Now, the other things you have to consider is what type of macros. So we've got cruciferous vegetables, that's your broccoli, your cauliflower, your asparagus, your cabbage. Broccoli, cauliflower, asparagus, cabbage, maybe green beans, zucchini, yellow squash, no, carrots, no. beets, no. Eggplant, no. All these things have too many carbohydrates. You want to count total carbs. I used to say net, but let's just be real. Let's do total carbs. You don't want to go over total carbs of, let's say, 15 total carbs. And then we also want to, I'm going to go into low carb, high fat and carnivore in a minute, but I really want to cover this keto territory because that is the best diet, without a doubt. I've done all three, and keto with cruciferous vegetables for that prebiotic fiber to help with diamine oxidase, to make sure that your digestive enzymes, your histamine enzymes are still being produced. Now, the kind of fat should be animal fat. Now, you can get monounsaturated fat from avocados, olives, olive oil, but the best is animal fat because it has all three, mono, poly, and saturated fat. That's what we're made out of, because we're animals. 200 milligrams of fat a day to start with, and that's on carnivore as well, but I'm going to go into the carnivore little situation in a second. Can you do spices? Yes, but go look, if you're doing like a mixed spice, make sure there's no sugar. There's no sugar. You cannot do any sugar. No sugar, no sugar, no sugar. And how much vegetables? About a handful. About a big cup and a half a day. I do it one time a day. That's enough. Because plants also have anti-nutrients in them, which is why a lot of people have done carnivore, because they're having issues with the plants. Typically people have allergies to plants and not to the meat. Now the protein is, for men it's under 100, for women it's under 65. Depends on how active you are and how tall you are as a woman. If you're a very tall, very muscular, active woman, clearly your protein can go up to 75, but generally most women sit at the sweet spot, 55 to 60 grams of protein per meal. That's not in weight, that's in total protein, not weight, for the European community. And that's, I'm actually going to do a visual of everything, but you know, I'm sitting in Texas and it's in the 80s today, but it's breezy and it's lovely. I love it. Now for carnivore. Carnivore is the same as keto. We want 200 grams of fat. We want to start with 200 grams of fat. And we just cut out the vegetables 3 months max. If you guys are trying to fix mast cell activation, leaky gut, any type of allergen or sensitivity, that's it, not allergy, sensitivity to plants, then it's a good short-term protocol. Now, I really don't like to go over 3 months because you start to lower your diamine oxidase, which helps break down histamine. And all of a sudden you find yourself trying to go back to plants and you can't. You can't eat any of the plants that you used to because the stuff that breaks down the histamine is now hit the floor. That's why carnivore is not good for the long term. Sorry, harness, but unfortunately, well, I have coached so many people and found this out to be 1000% the truth. Boom. All right, now the fat, like I said, is the same. The protein amount is the same as keto. Exactly the same, just cutting out the vegetables. And that's protein under 100 grams in total protein for men, depending on your activity, your age, your all of that. And for women, it's under 65 pretty much. Men, the sweet spot is around 85. And that's your macros for carnivore and for keto. And the electrolytes are the same. To get the stress down is the same. The what else? Everything is pretty much the same. Chew your food slowly. Do not eat 2 pounds of meat. That is, I've got tons of videos explaining how stupid that is. You don't believe me? Go get a glucometer and test your blood sugar after eating a pound of meat in one sitting. All right, low carb, high fat people, that's super simple. You use things like parsnip and sweet potato or white rice. It just depends on if you guys react to any of those. Find the ones that you don't react, or the one, and use that as your starch. Your carbs should be under 100 grams of carbs a day, typically between 80 and 100 grams of carbs. Once you go lower and lower, you're not storing enough glycogen in your muscle, and your adrenals start to freak out if your carbs get too low. Like people are doing like 50 grams of carbs a day or 60. It's getting too low. It's getting way too low. Okay. Low is in terms of an adrenal response, the thyroid issues. Also, for all these diets, you guys, go check out what your blood sugar is before. Your A1C, if you can get your insulin, your sex hormonal panel. I'm not caring about the thyroid panels or the cholesterol panels especially. What's also good is a calcium score if you're worried about your heart, as well as a GFR to test your kidney filtration rate is also a good test. But all those other tests, you know, if you're worried about your iron, I mean, I would worry about your iron if you were like drinking a bunch of teas, because teas have tannins, and coffee that kind of pull out iron out of the body. So a lot of women who are menstruating can have low iron, and you got to be really careful when you do any type of new dietary protocol. Don't drink a bunch of teas on keto. Be very careful. Rooibos, teas that don't have tannins, and no caffeine. None. Zero caffeine. Yes. I think that's it. Now, on low carb, high fat, you can have vegetables, you can have fruits. The fruits on keto are going to be more, of course, low in carbohydrate. Do not worry about the carbs in avocado because of the fat and fiber content. But if you're doing low carb, high fat, you can have a little bit of carrots, you can have a little bit of berries. You can have the starches, like I said, are parsnip, sweet potato, or white rice. The meat is the same, the amount of meat is the same, moderate to low on carnivore. And the fat, the fat is under 200, typically between 100 to 120 grams of fat a day. Those are your how to start keto, low carb, high fat, and carnivore basics, if you guys can hear me. And I'm out. Now let's just pray that you can hear this stream. And if not, I'll have to repeat the video, which I can do. Comment below. If you guys want to learn more, go to stephanieperson.com, book a consultation, stephanieperson.com. My Instagram is Stephanie Ketogenic. My Facebook is Stephanie the Business, as in the body business person. I am 54 and counting. I've been doing keto forever, 14 years and counting, solid, without any cheating, refeeds, or anything on carbs or sugars. No alcohol. No, I don't miss it. And I love living a fabulous life. I'm going to be doing more of my vlog videos on horses, traveling, building my new home, how to stay young, sports, fitness, workouts, because you know, you got to have the business as you get older. And I think I'm out. So I got to energy. Peace, guys.